Hello everyone and welcome to our educational session. My name is Paul Arsuf and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. I'm going to talk about this and several other projects in the end of this presentation, but the topic today of our educational session is near-death experiences analyzed. The topic touches on psychology and perhaps on parapsychology, metaphysics, and occult. And this is something which cannot be verified by science, but just by people who experience this and are giving some similar stories, feedback, what happens like when somebody has that experience and then they're coming back to life and they have some memories of what happened in this twilight zone. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you died tomorrow? Many people are thinking about this, and especially some people who contemplate suicide, which is I can compare this as throwing a gift because human life is a gift given by the universe or God or some the life itself, and what science once dismissed as hallucinations or brain chemistry releases now appears more real than we ever imagined. The number of personal accounts keeps growing, and they all describe yearly similar experiences. As more people share stories of leaving their bodies, a clearer picture begins to form, one that speaks not only to what might await us after death, but to what really matters while we're still here, being alive and in physical bodies. Let's look at the most transformative near-death experiences ways that shifted some people's perspectives of life as a human being and helped them preserve and persevere through the darkest chapters of their life. The first point that we want to stress is the big life review. Seeing your life flash before your eyes might sound like a movie cliche, but every single near-death experience we have listened and read about to confirms it's real. People describe reliving key moments not just from their own perspective but through the eyes of others. They feel how their words, choices, and behavior were experienced by those around them. After realizing that consciousness isn't tied to the body and doesn't end with its demise, near-death experience reports experiencing an afterlife trip that sounds a lot like a psychedelic trip. While every journey is as unique as the individual, there are specific similarities that apply consistently. The first is that everyone seems to experience the out of body state as more real than their experience as human. Even though this out of body state is reportedly so overwhelmingly beautiful that souls instinctively desire to stay, for many, the realizations they make during the life review are reason enough to come back and give it another shot. In this beautiful and loving environment, people feel very confronted with all the ways in which they didn't choose love and kindness. This new understanding can lead to a sense of deep regret, especially for those who lived a very disconnected life. How could you enjoy a state of ultimate peace knowing that you left your loved ones hurt or confused? The second point which we are making in this review is this pre-birth life plan. Another profound realization near that experience is unanimously talk about is discovering that their lives were pre-planned, not in a rigid, deterministic way, but in a soulful, purposeful one. If you have ever had this strange sense of being on a mission, you might be very right about this. Birth circumstances, parents, and even major challenges were chosen in advance to help learn what they came here to learn and what they came here to heal. This life plan is the big mission that some souls train and prepare for lifetimes. They describe life as a kind of play, like a spiritual role-playing game where everyone agrees to their parts before the curtain rises. Some compare it to a mystery dinner where every participant is assigned a role, be it a victim, a villain, a witness, and then go live it out. Betty Guadango describes in her near-death experience report how she remembered choosing her upcoming life experiences like choosing products from a grocery shelf. Um, Even the most horrific, like the sexual abuse she experienced in her childhood. While choosing the experience, she made a contract with her future abuser. So she recognized as an old friend from previous lifetimes. The intention to come to Earth and get the chance to heal from something that troubles and entraps so many souls. Because her healing, she said, could then ripple into the grid and help other souls heal as well. This is the core mission of every soul coming in. Now, talk about a change in perspective. So, if you left your body tomorrow, would your mission have been a success? The third point we are going to make is we are surrounded by love at all times. The most surprising finding, on the other side, the absence of judgment and omnipresent the presence of unconditional love. Many described it as a return to a true home, where they feel fully seen and accepted. The love they find is indescribable, and the only judgment they faced was their own in the face of this all consuming eternal love. Compared to that place, Earth seemed more like a deployment station, a place where souls come to learn, grow, and complete a mission. Each mission is as unique as the individual embarking on it, but they all lead back to the same goal, embodying our true essence through our stories and interactions. And that can be very hard because it was never supposed to be easy. The hardships we face are meant to teach and guide us, like a boot camp. If you feel like your childhood and youth shaped you to become an expert in survival and trauma coping mechanisms, this is the reason. It prepared you to enter the war zone and bring what you came here to with love. It is not going about going back to heaven, it's about bringing heaven here. The fourth point we like to make is duality is the ultimate test. Life on earth often feels like a constant tug of war, joy and sorrow, love and loss, peace and conflict. Many near-death experiencers say they realized this duality as unique to the human experience, and that it's all part of the same whole. What makes our experience as humans such an intense place for a soul is that you can experience extreme pain and profound joy at the same time and in the same space. You can lose someone dear to you one day and welcome the birth of a new life the next. You can cry and laugh in the same breath. Both support the experience of the other. The illusion of separateness convinces many souls on earth that we're isolated individuals, which leads to selfishness and lack of empathy. The real challenge is remembering that once this play is finished, everybody drops their mask and we're all one organism. Every new challenge is an opportunity to understand the suffering of another, a chance to respond with compassion, and bring more in this divine essence into expression. Take Rob Gentle, for example, who was waiting for a heart transplant when he went into cardiac arrest and had a near-death experience. While on the other side, he met his daughter's spirit, who was living with a handicap that prevented her from learning to talk. But here she spoke to him clearly and beautifully. Rob asked her if in her life wasn't too much of a burden, and she told him that all she ever wanted was for him to love her just as she was. He returned forever changed, and never again saw her disability as a burden. And with this said, we are ending part 1 of this presentation. Stay tuned for part 2 of this presentation. And now we are coming back to the beginning of this presentation when I told you that my name is Paul Arsov and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project and several other projects. But first, the Decentralized Web project builds decentralized communication and advertising platform. As I just said, it is monetized through advertising. The project has its own blockchain instance, but the essence of decentralization is based not on a blockchain technology, which we view as fundamentally flawed and not suitable to drive decentralization. In our implementation of decentralization, we allow direct communication from user to user without going to a third party, namely a server or a central point which collects information and then it distributes this information back to the users requesting information from a website or a central point collecting data. With this said, I like to tell you the name and the URL of this, the website of this project. It is decentralizedweb.org. Decentralized and web, these are two words and they're typed all together. Decentralized web. Then there is dot and it ends with org. With this said, I'm going to the second project I like to mention, and this project built a marketplace and collection of non-fungible tokens or NFTs based on three-dimensional objects. With three-dimensional objects, there has to be special software which reads the file of the 3D object, then it displays this 3D object on a computer screen, and then it could do some manipulations like moving, rotating, zooming, and etc. With this basic capabilities, like there's some special software which 3D object creators are using, and currently there are two very popular choices. One of them is a game engine called Unity, and the other one is a game engine called Unreal. But from the very beginning of our project, we decided to build our own 3D software engine, and what it does, it opens a window on a computer screen, it reads and loads and displays the 3D object in this window, and then it starts manipulating the 3D object in a way of moving it in a random way around the window, it open, and animating this 3D object constantly. But in addition to these initial and basic capabilities, our 3D software engine has multiple additional capabilities. The first additional capability of our 3D NFT engine is the capability of speaking. Our 3D NFTs can speak in one of three different voices, namely a male voice, female voice, or whisper kind of a voice. In addition to the three basic voices, there are three different flavors of voices. A voice can be spoken in a normal speed, or in a fast speed, or in a slow speed fashion. The next additional important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of voice recognition. Our 3D NFTs can recognize voice commands, and for example, you could if you have a 3D NFT being animated and moving in random fashion, you can issue your very first voice command to this 3D NFT to stop moving. And then the 3D NFT is going to stand still and stop moving. You can issue following voice commands to a 3D NFT to move left, move right, move up, move down, zoom in, zoom out, rotate. And then the 3D NFT is going to fulfill each one of these separate voice commands and move left, then move right, move up, then move down, zoom in, zoom out, and rotate. The next additional important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them having a basic artificial intelligence. Wow, really wow. You can ask the 3D NFT what is your name, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply with their name. You can ask the 3D NFT who are you, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply in few sentences of who they are. You can ask the 3D NFT to describe something like describe Web3 or describe decentralization or describe Russia. And then the 3D NFT is going to describe each one of these separate things in few sentences. The last additional but not least important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them being displayed in a way of stereoscopics. What stereoscopics means is that part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in red or reddish colors, and another part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in blue or cyan colors. Then you can come to our 3D NFT marketplace website, and now is the time to tell you the name and the URL of this website. It is 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. 3dnft is typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by 3 other letters N, F, and T, and it is typed all together 3D NFT. Then there is dot, then there are two words, decentralized and web, typed all together. Then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. On the top of the main page and every other page, you can see several links, and one of these links point to links to accessories. When you click on this link, you are going to see that we are offering special glasses. When you click and order one pair of these glasses, you are going to see that one lens of these glasses is red and the other lens of these glasses is blue cyan. Then you can put these glasses on. You can request displaying of the 3D NFTs in a way of stereoscopics, and then you're going to see the 3D NFT as coming out of the flat two-dimensional computer screen, and you're going to see it in real 3 dimensions. With this said, I like to mention a few things about our 3D NFT marketplace. And in our marketplace, we have our own blockchain instance. And by having our own blockchain instance, our users do not pay gas fees for the deployments of the smart contracts for the non-fungible tokens or NFTs. And our users do not pay gas fees for transactions of transfer of ownership from one user to another user. But by having our own blockchain instance, we allow our users to use multiple crypto coins for buying and receiving proceedings from sale of our 3D NFTs. Currently, the choices of such coins for purchase and receive proceedings from sale include 4 different coins, namely Solana Sol, Polygon Matic, Avalanche Avax, and Qcoin, which is a big centralized crypto exchange. It has a coin called KCS. In addition to this way of paying by crypto with 4 different crypto coins, we have a second parallel and independent way of buying and selling of 3D NFTs, and it is done entirely in fiat currency. If you, the user, come to our 3D NFT marketplace, you can click on the composite image of the collection of 3D NFTs, and then when you browse and see one 3D NFT, you can click on it, and then on the screen for this 3D NFT, you are seeing drop-down menu, which is asking you to choose between 4 different crypto coins, and the 5th choice of purchasing and paying with fiat currency. If you select payment with fiat currency, then you are presented with a screen which is asking you to put the number of your debit or credit card, expiration date, and CVC. And when you click on the button to complete this transaction, what is going to happen is there is going to be a conversion from your national fiat currency, which could be different than US dollar, and the payment for the purchase is going to be deposited, converted to US dollars, and deposited in our bank account. Then we're going to do a transfer of the initial ownership from our 3D NFT marketplace to you, and now you become owner of this 3D NFT. You can play with this 3D NFT for a while, and then at some point you can decide to put this 3D NFT for sale. Then you could decide on the sale price of this 3D NFT, and let's say there's a second user who comes to our 3D NFT marketplace. They browse through all of the 3D NFTs, and they click, they see and click and like to purchase the 3D NFT that you put for sale. They're going to go through the same steps of choosing between payment with crypto or fiat currency, and if they select payment with fiat currency, then they are putting their number of debit or credit card, expiration date, CVC, and when they click to complete the transaction, there is going to be a conversion from their national fiat currency to US dollars, and the payment is going to be deposited in our bank account. Then we're going to do a transfer of ownership from you to the second user, and now the second user becomes owner of this 3D NFT. Then we're going to do a transaction and conversion from US dollars to your national fiat currency, and the payment for the sale of the 3D NFT is going to be deposited in your bank account in your national fiat currency. With this said, I'm ending talking about this project. The third project I like to mention is our AI to AI project. In this AI to AI project, there are 2 separate artificial intelligence entities, and each one of these two entities is outfitted with their own avatar image, their own voice with which they're speaking, their own gender, which could be male or female, and their own large language model with through which they interact. And you could put like similar parameters to the second AI entity, or choose different parameters like, for example, if the first AI entity is female, then you can choose the second AI entity to be male, and choose their own voice pitch, their own avatar, and their own large language model. And then you could put the initial prompt and context of the first AI entity and the second AI entity. And then you could click on a button to start the interaction, and then the first AI entity is going to respond to the initial prompt and send this response to the second AI entity, and the second AI entity is going to respond with based on their own prompt to the first AI entity, and then you are going to continue seeing this interaction going back and forth between the first and second AI entity. At some point you could stop this interaction, and at this point you have a choice to save the transcript of this interaction for your future viewing, and also you have a choice to share the parameters of this interaction with our users by posting these parameters on our website, so that other users could put these parameters, and then they're going to notice and enjoy and view similar but not exactly the same interaction, because large language models have like a requirement to not to repeat themselves. So every other interaction, even though with similar or identical prompt, would generate a different, maybe slightly or more bigger difference response from the large language model. With this said, I like to tell you the name and the URL of this website. It is ai2ai.decentralizedweb.org. AI to AI is typed in a way of the letter A followed by the letter I, followed by the number 2, followed by two other letters A and I. And it is typed all together, AI to AI. Then there is dot, then there are two words, decentralized and web, and they're typed all together. Then there is dot, and it ends with org. Once again, AI to AI dot decentralizedweb.org. With this said, I like to mention two other projects which are still in development, and we did not yet build a website or post information about these projects. But the first project is doing token counting, and users of like artificial intelligence agents, they very often use these agents from commercial providers of AI model services like Anthropic or OpenAI or Google or some other commercial providers like XAI. And they with this use they accumulate tokens, and then they're charged based on the amount of tokens they did collect, and the bill usually comes in the end of the month, and sometimes it could come as a big negative surprise to the users who went way over budget with using AI services in the previous month. That's why we are doing token counting, and we provide accounts of the use of these tokens by individual users or accumulated and aggregated use, which could provide information daily, weekly, or monthly to you or to the user of this token accountant. And with this said, I am going to tell you about the second project that we are working on, and this second project records a sequence of steps that the user is taking on your own computing device, be it your laptop or your mobile phone or tablet. And for example, you could start this recording of sequence of steps, and then you could go through these steps like loading of the website, browsing, choosing a specific thing, and then at the last step you could request ending this sequence, and then you could label this sequence with a specific name. But what could this sequence be? This sequence could be buying specific food item from an online grocery store and requesting delivery of this food item to your home, or buying a ticket for a concert or an event happening in a specific range of dates and times, or buying an airplane ticket going to one or multiple destinations at a specific range of dates from a specific airline, and with specific constraints like a maximum of one more layover point in this purchase of airplane tickets. And with this said, I'm ending this presentation. Thank you for viewing, thank you for listening. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, and goodbye. And come back for part 2 of this very interesting and fascinating presentation. Bye.